In this video, I'll briefly share what I saw regarding the demonstration devices at the show. At this exhibition, Qualcomm had a separate display area to showcase products using Qualcomm chip technology in detail. Given the booming development of Android demonstration devices, Qualcomm also set aside a dedicated area to display them. A total of 6 models were shown this time. Demonstration device products. AYA didn't have a separate booth at the C booth exhibition. Instead, only at the Qualcomm booth they showcased the Pocket DS, Pocket S2 Pro, and the new brand KONKR Pocket FIT. Let's look at the DS first. The first thing I felt when I picked it up was, wow, it's heavy. I guess that's because of the metal material on the A side and the 8000 mAh battery, the clamshell dual screens. The design of this device truly wins over 3DS players. Its top screen offers a freestop hinge, which is great because it has no limitations on viewing angles. It features an ergonomic grip along with wireless shoulder buttons and an advanced trigger. There are no ports at the bottom, just a TF card slot, and the back is minimalist. The cooling vent and custom buttons are placed at the top. From a side view, the device appears quite thick, making it fairly substantial. The top cover must be lifted from the gaps on both sides or it's difficult to open. The bottom screen on this model is larger than that of the Flip 1 S3DS and it cannot slide up and down. Move. That one is better for playing retro games, while this one is more suited for viewing documents or running other types of apps independently. Overall, the quality of both the upper and lower screens is quite good. Pressing the AAR button brings the bottom screen to the system settings interface. The performance data of the console is displayed directly and you can make real-time adjustments. The options at the very top are selectable performance modes, so you can choose the most suitable one for games with different requirements. Sliding is not a problem. You can swipe left and right on this interface. There must be some kind of restriction that prevented it from sliding up and down before. Here are the performance handle and toolbar, which you can use for direct configuration. Now let's examine the button controls. Due to the clamshell design, both the left and right joysticks are restricted to a lowered position, featuring a small concave style. I encountered a user experience issue immediately after exiting a game and then re-entering it. The physical buttons have absolutely no response. As for Genshin Impact, the Android version of Genshin Impact doesn't feature a native controller mode, it utilizes button mapping. Alright, it's functional now. There might be a slight delay due to the button mapping. Here I'll provide a real-time demonstration of Genshin Impact running on its highest graphics settings. Personally, I don't play open-world mobile games very often, so my demonstration might not be very smooth. If you don't mind, skip ahead. Oh, whoa, you fell to your death. Overall, its operational status remains quite stable and very fluid. Why aren't these buttons responding once again? Alright, let's take a look at something different. Why are there so many applications running in the background? Without an emulator and without a DF card inserted, you are limited to playing only Android games. Next up, we'll try out Diablo Immortal. Okay, next up is another new model that Aya is showing off at the exhibition. It's the first product from the new brand KONKR, the Pocket FIT. It's very beautiful overall, and the feel in hand, the weight, it's all lighter than the DS. It has a large grip design and ergonomic design, so it feels great to hold. You no longer need an extra silicone grip to make it comfortable. The C port, headphone jack, and DF card slot are on the bottom. When held, the new position feels quite comfortable and there's no sensation of your hands being unsupported. The ergonomic grip is truly excellent. Let's look at the back design. There's a custom button on the left and right. Above is the trigger lock, which controls whether the trigger key is clicky or linear. The front is fully covered in glass, a classic design that Aya is very proud of. Officially, they say this is a value-for-money device, but the overall specs are high-end. It has an RGB joystick light, speaker ports on both sides, and custom buttons and a power switch on top. But it's not yet certain if the final version will have fingerprint recognition. Putting the power light on top is a really great idea. This game is Genshin Impact. MiHoYo also has a pretty big independent booth here at the event. The Aya button can also display performance stats. The settings window is limited to one side of the screen, which is definitely not as good as the previous DS. The settings options are all the same: performance, handle, tools, and so on. With the performance test overlay enabled, the frame rate is quite good, but the CPU temperature has increased. Following this is some actual game footage. You can skip it if you're not interested. There's no emulation display, and I later learned that's because Qualcomm wants to avoid copyright issues. Next up is the Android flagship gaming device that's about to ship in large quantities, the Pocket S2 Pro. This one is the top-spec retro color scheme. The anti-slip texture on this generation's metal parts is very fine. The body is surrounded by a CNC metal finish to enhance its quality. The back is very flat with no grip design or top buttons, but it feels okay in the hand. Well, the two layers will support the new device, and I estimate they'll still release a silicone grip for added support. The joystick is a TMR electronic joystick. Unfortunately, there's no replaceable D-pad on site. Because it's similar to the previous PS, there's really not much to say. Let's briefly experience the gameplay on this high-end water-cooled device. Alright, that's all for Aya's exhibition device. Next is the long-awaited transforming device Sugary One. My budget is limited, so this is my first time touching a Sugary One device, and also my first time touching a prototype from them. You can see the thickness of the body from the side. It's thick. Both sides have lighting effects, and the volume key on the right is designed as a scroll wheel. It's just that the metallic color looks quite out of place. Let's examine the overall appearance. The buttons are arranged vertically, and the grip on the back is good. My fingers fit perfectly around the handle. The overall feel is acceptable. The size and placement of the shoulder and trigger buttons are greatly affected by the device's body, and they are arranged side by side, making the shoulder buttons. They're very close, and the main characteristic of the transforming device Sugary One is its ability to transform. The handles on both sides have a mechanical quick-release mechanism. You just flip them upwards, then rotate the entire device, and there you have it. This is the 2025 RDS. Now simply rotate the handles back. Oh! Now if you put that small screen on the back, it becomes a horizontal gaming device. Right now, because it's reversed, it just won't flip down. Since it's an engineering model, the grills for the heat vents on the back are not yet the final version. Anyway, I personally find that it looks quite out of place. Now let's take a look at the software. The small robot icon on the bottom of the screen probably stands for the application shortcut, and there's also a physical button you can press to bring it up. The top and bottom screens are able to run different applications independently. This is Sugary's Swift setup window. Take a look. The stylistic differences are quite striking. The night vision mode is considerably more flamboyant. I'm just curious if theme alterations are feasible. A key aspect here is the management, transitioning and merging of the top and bottom screens. While both the Sugary One and the AIDS incorporate dual screen designs, they are actually different. Sugary seems to have a dual screen fusion plus extended screen solution, while AYA and other dual screen devices should have a single extended screen solution. The upper and lower screens can run different applications simultaneously, and the lower screen even has an official mask to adjust the display area to fit different game aspect ratios. Leaving hall N5, in the digital hall of the first phase, you can find the OneNetbook and GPD booths. The OneNetbook booth is quite spacious, offering substantial storage. When I arrived, a Black Myth Wukong challenge was actively taking place. The primary display is the new X1 Mini. Also, on one side of the booth, I encountered their very own AAG A16. Next, I'm at the GPD booth. Let's check out their flagship WEN handheld device, the WENWU. It strongly resembles a Sony PS series handheld, very sleek and attractive. This version, without a physical keyboard or built-in battery, weighs around 19.4 ounces. Examining its overall design, there's a substantial cooling vent on top. Its true effect is hard to capture on camera, but it is actually blowing out a significant amount of hot air. The bottom is quite simple, featuring a single USB-C port, and I'm uncertain if the lower right is a slot. Examining the body's grip design on the back, there are custom buttons on both the left and right sides, along with a shortboard interface for external battery connection. The offset button layout is truly excellent. Your thumb won't be obstructed by the joystick during gameplay. Previously, handheld devices, due to size or internal space constraints, typically had a vertical or slightly misaligned layout. Such an offset arrangement is usually found on larger handhelds. The WENWU's front panel has many buttons. On the lower left is the power switch, which includes an RGB light effect, with the back and home keys positioned next to it. At the bottom is the menu key, O, which is the Xbox button. On the right side, you'll find both the start button and the keyboard key, making for easy accessibility and control. On the top right is the mouse and controller switch. Let's look at the external battery. It's 5,170 mAh, weighing about 14.1 ounces. The latch is up here. You just line it up like this and it'll lock in place. This battery is a must-have accessory for this device. Now for a bigger one, this should be the WENWU specific docking station. On the front you can see a dedicated battery charging slot, and you should be able to connect it to a display. These are the ports on the back. From left to right we have the charging port, a video port, a USB port and an Ethernet port. With a 1080p resolution and ultra-high graphics settings, let's see how Black Myth Wukong actually performs. Alright, at the YIXI Digital Hall, you'll also find the Lenovo Legion booth. but sadly there's no Legion Go 2, only the Go S model is available. The original first generation controller and its stand, I guess. There's also a controller joystick supplier whose booth showcased RP and Asus demo units. The owner was quite friendly, even sharing some industry insights.
That's correct.
Alright, that concludes our look at the devices from the CG exhibition. Thank you for watching.